a very strong contender for any percent, and has actually pushed its time down. He has world record right now, 47.08. SpeedFrog also submitted a time for this tournament. It was around the 1 hour 10 mark, but now he has a 53.25. So if this is your first time tuning into Shovel Knight in general, this is a 2D platformer. You have a basic attack with your shovel swing. You can hold down when you jump to pogo, and that will destroy dirt blocks, etc. below you. Both made it past the leap of faith there. It's not it's not super difficult. Most people usually get it, but it's also kind of scary, especially in a race setting. Now, one of the rules for this specific tournament is that players are not allowed to pick up anything at all, anything that would help them out on their run. No health upgrades, no armors, no weapons. They also have to avoid music sheets. Music sheets will increase their percentage and are therefore not allowed as well. If a runner were to pick one up, they would have to exit the stage in order to remove it from the inventory. It's not very likely that that'll happen, but it is a technicality that we will be enforcing. So it doesn't look like SpeedFrog is going for the bubble wrap. However, as you can see, Patwah is going for it. It doesn't look like he got it first try. I saw him pogoing maybe for fun for a second there. But bubble wrap is where you set up a pair of bubbles, bounce off of them, trigger the screen transition, and the game basically tries to eject you into some type of room. So it actually helps you out by putting you one room higher. And the Black Knight Stunlock is pretty easy. It is not 100% free, but it's very consistent. It's just all a matter of muscle memory and timing. And they both made it through. Yo, the spoilers. Alright, so let me talk about something real quick. I'm actually in the same room as SpeedFrog. He's across the room from me. I just heard him gasp. I'm excited to see what he got in the village. It had to be that. Pick Dear Lady! Oh yeah! This is the run! Alright, so they're in Pridemore now. Patwah's coming up on Gentle Hop, which is a weird trick that lets you get additional height. And he got it, and we'll see if SpeedFrog gets it. And the way this works is you attack and jump very close to a screen transition. Look a little too close. By attacking and jumping very close to a screen transition, the game sort of treats it like you were previously in a standing position. That's the short end of it. But essentially, it just kind of resets your jump animation from there. If you do it too close to the screen transition, you won't gain enough height, and that's what appears happened on SpeedFrog's screen. There's no reason for them to break checkpoints, but they might as well do it. Pridemore is kind of an easy stage. Breaking checkpoints yields more money. It's not going to be necessary for the run. You can't spend it at all. Not in this category. They might do it for swag. Runners should have a fairly... Oh, Patwah lost a little bit of time there for swag, so I'm not going to penalize him for it, but he definitely lost time. You can pass through dirt piles and dig them up without slowing down for it, but if you're standing on the ground when you do so, you will actually do the full swing animation on the ground. Similarly, how SpeedFrog just opened up a dinner plate without stopping. So I want to see. I'm pretty sure Patwah very, very, very well practiced at the most difficult tricks here. I expect him to be going for all the hard stuff, like quickest books here. He's going to do a damage boost. Yeah, he nailed it. Whereas SpeedFrog does the more traditional version of quick books, where you simply wait on the first lava pot cycle, and then you kind of casually keep holding right through the rest of the room. And here's something else where we might see some differing strats here. King Knight has a pretty standard quick kill, but if runners are feeling particularly insane, they might do something pretty stupid and crazy. Patwah did not nail a perfect kill, but he still managed to get rid of King Knight quickly. And SpeedFrog nailed the pretty standard quick kill. It's really cool. It's kind of what got me into like trying really hard in this game. So I do appreciate the King Knight kill. A lot of people when they approach this game probably just bounced on King Knight's head, but the way the run makes use of like the room itself to keep attacking King Knight aggressively. And Patwah got pretty good RNG from the frog. Frogs are one of the few sources of RNG. I want to see what SpeedFrog gets in a second, but the first frog did not really bother Patwah, whereas SpeedFrog had to damage boost. Unfortunately, got hit the wrong way. Rats, slimes, frogs, and later on we'll see a very vicious enemy in World 3 that no one likes. SpeedFrog is trying to prove he's not simply paying the frogs to cooperate with him, so he's trying to make it look good right now. But when the time is pivotal for frogs to be on his side, they will strike at Patwah with vengeance. These dark rooms are one of the other gimmicks in this stage. Pretty scary, but runners basically have all the rooms memorized, so layout shouldn't cause them issues. Oh no! Patwah! Oh no! That's awful. He accidentally knocked the skull way too close to the left, and in his attempt to get it back onto the platform, you needed to weigh down the platform. He actually hit the screen transition, so he reset the position of the skull. That actually really helped SpeedFrog catch up just now. I would like to see if either of them can do this next room without slowing down. Okay, grabbing the safety checkpoint, good stuff. Runners usually take a damage boost from the frogs in this room just because it makes it so you can get through the room basically guaranteed without dying. And then they are coming up on Spectre Knight, who is one of the first reset points for the serious runners of this category, because you can, beyond your control, lose 5 seconds, essentially. He will either go to the bottom left corner or the bottom right corner on his second teleport. And the bottom left corner guarantees a quick kill. The bottom right corner makes things trickier. Still doable, but definitely at least 5 seconds slower. Ooh, Patwah! Oh my god! Patwah going for some crazy stuff. Nice, getting extra hits in. SpeedFrog unfortunately got the bad teleport. So Patwah not only got the the yo what, as we call it, where he does a slash pogo slash on Spectre, but he even got the good teleport. SpeedFrog did a pretty good job cleaning up Spectre there on the right side. And now they're heading into Dream 1. The goal of the dream sequences is to die as quickly as possible. Shield Knight has a set amount of time she will appear, but if you die, she immediately falls down. So runners are going to try and bait the skeleton's attacks. That will deal a full heart, so 4 hits only to get them killed. And then hopefully they'll be landing underneath Shield Knight, because as soon as Shield Knight hits either Shovel Knight's body or the ground, the event ends. And although Shovel Knight's laying on the ground, it's slightly higher than the floor itself. So next they'll be heading to the Explodatorium, and this stage is this stage is pretty scary. SpeedFrog reminds me to spare the Beto. There is a Beto coming up in the second room Patwah's going into. I want to see if he'll kill it or save it. He killed it! What a heathen! Nice, and SpeedFrog mercifully spares the Beto. So this stage actually has global cycles. There are not only pot lids that start going the moment you enter the stage, but also fire traps that are about halfway through the level. Patwah doing a kind of tricky, kind of precise reflection on the potion. You pogo off the plague minion and then slash the potion away from him. SpeedFrog actually got hit by that potion. It's not an easy trick, honestly, so I'm not surprised that he would get hit there. Patwah a little bit low on health, half health, but you can heal really quickly and easily. That pot lid kind of screwed him up a little bit, but he made it out just fine. SpeedFrog kind of taking a lot of the damage, but he should be able to get to the food before he dies. So now we have the Alchemister. This mini-boss has, I think, 24 health. That's more health than any of the bosses, but because he just sits there, he goes down pretty quickly. So the goal is to try and reflect a potion or two at him if you can. Those deal damage back to him. By the way, if you don't know or are not familiar with Shovel Knight, that's something he can basically do with anything. Any projectile he can reflect. There are very few exceptions to the rule. Patwah successfully using the Chompy to skip having to go through the right half of the room. There is a small bait that you have to do in order to line the Chompy up. It involves taking damage at a precise time. SpeedFrog looks like he's lining it up properly. Nice, he got it. The way screen transitions work in this game is if they are above you, they are only triggered by using a ladder. So by grabbing the ladder in the next room, you cause the screen to scroll and allow the rest of the room to load. Getting slightly bullied by those fake Shovel Knights. Those actually deal full heart when they hit you with their shovel. Going in with 3 hearts is Patwah on Plague Knight. That's a pretty comfortable amount of health to have. Oh man, SpeedFrog on pretty low health here. He needs to be careful. Okay, he made it. While Patwah is dealing with Plague Knight. Yeah, he's already done with him. I didn't get to see, let me see, on the replay. He actually got a good jump pattern at the start. I can see that. That really helps him out quite a lot. Essentially, Plague Knight can choose to jump anywhere between 1 and 3 times before he stops and throws a bomb. So he actually got him to jump only twice, which allows you to get a much faster kill. SpeedFrog unfortunately got the dreaded 3 jumps. Which basically means Plague Knight is just going to run across the room like crazy. So, Patwah is here in the Iron Whale, and this stage, the water stage of the game, the mechanics are really nice, honestly. You just fall slightly slower in the water, you jump a little bit higher. Very, very manageable. Interesting. SpeedFrog actually went to the Lost City. I guess I don't blame him. Lost City is a kind of heavy reset point as well because of a trick that's coming up right at the beginning. This is Beetle Skip, where you're, instead of riding this gigantic Beto the entire way across the room, once it gets about halfway across the room, we're going to release this birder in a specific way, clear out some sand blocks and keep up with him, and then essentially skip having to ride the rest of the room out. It's a pretty precise trick. He's a little far behind. He might wait for its second pass. Yeah, that's what he did. Oh no, and he died! He's so quiet across the room. Oh man. See, now if this were the other way around, if I were doing the race and he were commentating, you'd have heard me on his microphone just scream in agony for messing that up. Okay, so Patwah's halfway through the stage. He's fighting the Tethalon. This enemy requires 12 hits, needs to cooperate with you for you to one-cycle him. Unfortunately, he did not get a one-cycle. And SpeedFrog is coming up to bat once more with Steve, as we call him. Okay, good. Second try, no problem. So Patwah using the dirt clod on the wall to pogo up to grab the ladder instead of having to navigate to the previous missile room. And now he has to clear this room with the purple Duck Knight, which actually is kind of scary. That purple Duck Knight is positioned in a really annoying spot if you don't kill him. He could actually hit you with an anchor while you're standing on the missile and just kill you like that. Ooh, Patwah with his setup, nice. He actually gets the first anchor skip, and the second anchor skip, he's just going to ride the... Okay, he didn't die. He went with the mage's attacks, and he is struggling to hit the dirt block around that purple Duck Knight. Let's see if he manages to... Nice, nice. So while falling towards that, that lever, he was just holding down, which allowed him to... basically pogo the switch, even though you barely was able to see it. A Treasure Knight's kind of scary, but Patwah does have 3.5 hearts. His attacks all deal a full heart of damage, so it's one of those fights that you could easily end up dying in. Ooh, and Treasure went to the ceiling. Oh no, and he killed him on the ceiling. Okay, so this dramatic slowdown and fall actually is costing him like a second or two. And you want to... No! You normally want to do that at the bottom of the screen. SpeedFrog just died. He was not facing the right way. When the mole minion hit him, it just knocked him into the lava. Alright, so now Patwah advances into Lost City. SpeedFrog's still trying to make his way through. The stage, like a lot of people will tell you, is a scary stage, and that's why I was kind of surprised that SpeedFrog went to Lost City first, but like getting it out of the way early on is something I've seen a lot of runners do. Alright, let's see if Patwah... Okay, he didn't go for his insane one. Okay, so recently Patwah published a video showing a more terrifying way of doing Beetle Wind that's only slightly faster. I'm kind of glad he didn't go for it in a marathon setting. Or in a race, rather. SpeedFrog is not doing Beetle 2. There is a setup to do a Beetle 2 skip. However, it's also really, really scary. It's actually scarier than Beetle 1. Ah, Jesus Christ, he jumped like he was gonna go for it. I'm glad he didn't. I see you smiling over there. Alright, now he's fighting Mole Knight. You want to try and get 2 hits on Mole Knight every time he passes by, and then on his last dive, he actually has these little sparks that come out of him. You can reflect those, and then you just want to try and chill in the corner and slap him as much as you can. You don't want to let him get underground. 2 more hits, please. Okay, lost a little bit of time here. We should be able to kill him. Come on! Uh-oh! No! So in that, like, invincible fire state that Mole Knight was in, you can actually reflect the glowy blue sparks that shoot out of him. Unfortunately, he just gave Mole Knight a big stinky hug. Alright! Alright, nailing a much better kill that time on Mole Knight the second time around. And Patwah is lining up for Beetle 2. He wants to jump right around there. Get these 2 dirt blocks out of the way, slow Steve down with a slap, and then pogo off of him and clear out the... Oh, he actually beat the lava. Wow. Means he was a little aggressive on it, too. Now, to clear out those dirt blocks in front of him, he's actually mashing jump and shovel at about the same time. That's a fun little tip for anyone who's wanting to pick up the game. Ooh, nice! And he actually got one of those reflected sparks to hit him. Nice kill. And SpeedFrog making his way through Iron Whale now. While Patwah, since he's cleared World 2, as we call it, is now going to Dream 2, the second dream sequence, where SpeedFrog actually found, for any percent, this crazy thing that happens where if you die while you're in the air, and there are setups for it, your body can actually catch Shield Knight way up toward the ceiling, and it ends the dream not only really quickly because you catch her right away, but it also saves time because dying and catching her while you're in the like the jump death animation causes you to like slide on the ground on the way out. So I want to see if Patwah gets anything like that. Ooh, he actually, wow, he had a good setup there. You see him slide out right now. Good stuff. Well, SpeedFrog is now at the Tethalon. Again, it's a small auto-scroller, and then he needs 12 hits. Tethalon is really random, so we may not cooperate with SpeedFrog. Patwah is at the stranded ship. This stage, the first stage we're dealing with in World 3. Kind of a scary one. Interesting route through this second room. And SpeedFrog is nice, successful in the 1 cycle. This jump is pretty tight on Patwah. Ooh, he has to pull back a slight bit. There's so many like minor optimizations in every room, just for the sake of like never stop holding right. Nice, he actually also got the 1 cycle on those platforms. I'm kind of scared. Let's see what happens on SpeedFrog's screen here. He managed to land on the first anchor, but he had to pull back. It was kind of low there. Hopefully he nails anchor 2. Nice, he got it. Purple Duck Knight giving him a little bit of trouble, while Patwah still chucking through the stranded ship. Hasn't taken any damage so far, which is great. This stage actually quite often causes players to bleed heavily throughout the level, which is a problem because there's a lot of damage boosting you have to do at the end. So now SpeedFrog approaching Treasure Knight, 2.5 hearts, which is a pretty standard amount entering this fight. It means you can take 2 hugs from an anchor before, without dying. 1 body hug. SpeedFrog concerned that Treasure Knight might be going toward the ceiling. This is a little scary now. He has to kill him quickly. Okay, nice. So Patwah already did a couple damage boosts there. The ice physics are not super awful because in this game, as soon as you jump, you reach your full movement speed. So if you're on the ice, essentially just jumping will get you to start trucking along. Damage boost, let's go up the ladder, and pogos off that spiking helmet. Nice way to gain some height quickly. I wonder if he'll do it again on this Viking, because I did see Muncha do that, but I'm not sure. No, he's just going to do the standard strat, take him out, and then jump over and back. This last room's a little bit scary. It looks like he's going for this crazy Azulag setup that I remember seeing a video of. Azulag, one of our strat hunters. Nice, that room was actually pretty quick. Unfortunately, SpeedFrog did not get a Dream 2 catch. And Patwah's going in with just 2 hearts on Polar Knight. A lot of people will take damage intentionally on Polar Knight for the sake of being able to stand on spikes. So by having low health, ooh, and he got a very nice kill there. Wow, he really kept up with Polar for a while. Typically, I would be killing him on the left side of the screen. He would actually stop running. So that was nice. Got a couple of extra hits in there. And SpeedFrog now entering the stranded ship. That was a little scary. If he did not pull back, he would have fallen right into that pit. Ooh, nice. He got the never stop holding right strat in that room. Good job. And Patwah is in the clockwork tower. Interesting setup. Okay. He did a neutral jump so that the platform he was waiting to land on would actually be at the right height for him to just keep holding right. Now, this stage is kind of troublesome, Clockwork Tower, because you end up doing a damage boost off that first gear if you want to be optimal. You end up doing a damage boost off this Chompy, which he was facing the wrong way for it. Good, he is grabbing the checkpoint, because even if he didn't heal right here, there is a room coming up with sign daggers. They're actually little swords on rockets. They're actually tiny little tips of swords on rockets. And they actually are completely random where they spawn. Their movement's obviously just fine. But they could basically just come out of nowhere and get you killed. This room particularly is notorious for getting runners killed. So Patwah now entering the first auto-scroller. I wonder if he's going to go for any of the auto-scrollers skip, where you damage boost partway through it and then just walk on the spikes the rest of the way. That's actually pretty scary. Wouldn't be surprised if he knew how to do it and has been doing it in his runs. SpeedFrog going for some going for some health and stranded ship. He pogoed the bomb, so it was kind of following him for a second. Yep, he is damage boosting. And he unfortunately got damage back to the left. If he had gotten damage to the right, he would have continued running across the spiky chasm. So Patwah taking a little bit of body contact from one maid so that he could safely walk through without dying, because those gears that they shoot at deal a full heart of damage. SpeedFrog on a heart and a half. That's enough health to play around with on this last room if something should go wrong, where he can damage boost across this giant, spike-filled last hallway. While Patwah is in the auto-scroller ending the Clockwork Tower. Nice, and SpeedFrog makes it across just fine. He's actually not going to heal. A heart and a half is enough health to survive most of the time when you fight Polar Knight. He's looking over at me with a smile, and I'm going to assume that he died horribly. Oh no! Oh no! He's on low health! Oh my god, this is not good! He definitely did die, dang it! While Patwah is dealing with Tinker Knight. Tinker Knight is one of the most obnoxious fights for low percent, because on any percent you can actually just use the mobile gear. It's a weapon you find in this stage, and it one-shots. It's the only instance of a boss having a weakness in this game. This game does take a lot after Mega Man. And that's just a joke, because when you kill him like that, it doesn't matter. You're going to drop down and do, quote-unquote, the real fight with this giant mech. Which is a lot easier for low percent, because you don't have to do this far more complicated strat. Even though Patwah really is going for some extra hits, never mind, he's making this way more complicated. Okay, and at some point SpeedFrog was victorious on destroying Polar Knight. Good. Polar Knight isn't one of those fights that should be giving you like a ton of trouble. But it is definitely very possible to die on that fight. Like, you can range from going damageless on Polar Knight to taking 2 hearts, so it's kind of one of those things where prepare for the worst and always do your best. I just realized that SpeedFrog is in the flying machine. He hasn't done Clockwork Tower. He must be trying to keep it interesting looking. Normally, you would not do this stage before Clockwork Tower, but it doesn't really matter. Essentially, SpeedFrog is a couple rooms ahead of Patwah in the level, but Jawas are trying to change that. So Jawas are the last enemy I didn't mention before in terms of what's random in this game. They actually are slightly manipulable, but not really. Like, not to the extent that a player can do something about it. You can just deal with what they give you. Nice. SpeedFrog did the... was he? Oh no! Okay. So, originally I was commenting on the fact that he actually trusted the blue Jawa to be there. Sometimes that blue Jawa isn't there. He's a very busy guy, but he's been there pretty consistently over the last couple patches, so that might have gotten fixed. Ooh, nice! He actually got the damage boost strat in the room with the Wisdom. That's actually pretty hard. He's getting aggressive hugs from these Jawas. They actually deal a full heart of damage, so he could die if any of them just happens to sit on his face. So he makes a pass. He still has to get through the auto-scroller. There's a checkpoint afterwards, but there is a Jawa in the auto-scroller, and I want to see how Patwah does now. A jump to try and bait that first Jawa didn't work. He still had the first Jawa body blocking him. Second Jawa, he waited specifically after it came up on screen so it would try and attack him down there. The second two still gave him a little bit of trouble, but he made it through that time. The SpeedFrog makes it through the auto-scroller. Patwah as well, dealing with the Jawa just fine. Oh no, I just realized that SpeedFrog probably fell down a screen. Yeah, this this is one of the worst sections of Flying Machine. So Patwah and SpeedFrog are now caught up to each other. But that could change at any given moment based on how Patwah deals with this room as well. Because these next couple rooms right here are very easy to cycle through repeatedly. Yo, nice butt waggle. I saw that. Okay, Patwah makes it through, and SpeedFrog makes it through. Nice. And they both grab the checkpoint as well. SpeedFrog on half a heart is kind of scaring me. He should be fine. Because basically everything here will instant kill you if it's gonna hit you. So Patwah, now coming up on Propeller Knight, has to execute a fairly tight kill here. This juggle involves hitting him between his lunges. If you do so too early, and SpeedFrog totally died at some point. Dang it. Okay, so Patwah got the proper timing there, because if he got it wrong, then Propeller Knight would have flown to the right side of the screen. Love you, honey! Good luck! You can do it! Oh, Jesus! That's how he died. Yeah, the one cycle on the second wind tunnel room is actually pretty tight. If you are just a little bit too slow with it, you won't make it out of the second pit. While there is a SpeedFrog catch for Dream 3. It is... What? Oh my god, he actually almost got it! Patwah actually has a good setup for Dream 3. That's actually really hard to get. Much harder than the Dream 2 one. Ooh, and SpeedFrog actually manages to get up on top of Propeller. Now, you should still be able to kill him pretty quickly. Nice! And he exits the stage at the same time. So now SpeedFrog should be heading to Clockwork Tower. Patwah is dealing with Tower 1. And this stage is essentially a... they're going to throw everything at you. He's waiting on rats to cooperate with him so he can drop down off the ladder. Again, a lot of this game does have like light assumptions that you have a bunch of items and relics to make the game easier at this point. But the entire game is designed to be beaten without any upgrades whatsoever. So a lot of the times you'll see rooms where it's like, man, if only you had the Propeller Dagger, or if only you had the Dust Knuckles, or something like that. But you really have to find the otherwise intended solutions for these rooms. So now I want to see if Patwah... Okay, he at least freed the music sheet. If he collects that, he's technically disqualified until he exits the stage. But I still appreciate that runners are respecting the tradition of collecting the swag music sheets. So now SpeedFrog dealing with the Red Duck Knight. He just damage boosts off of him to get past him as painlessly as possible, which seems to work out for him. Ooh boy, sign daggers all over the place. Oh my god. Patwah coming up on the last couple rooms here. These screens are all dark rooms essentially. The rain will be falling on actual ground. If you see the silhouette of something, but you don't see rain landing on it, then it's actually not a platform you can land on. SpeedFrog, what are you doing? Is he trying to spare the knights? Jesus Christ. He actually spared all the knights! Wow, what a nice guy! And Patwah makes it to Black Knight without healing. Wow, and SpeedFrog got really far into the two wizards without actually taking damage. That was impressive. This Black Knight stun lock is very similar to the one in Plains, but it is now much tighter. There's maybe only like a 2-frame window to keep this going. If you let it go at all, Black Knight will sprout wings and start flying around again. Very nice from Patwah. That's actually not easy. It takes a lot of new runners, a lot of hours of practice just to be able to get that even once. I think I just heard him digging up a dirt pile. I'm not sure. Oh, that was the sound of him digging at the screen transition. Alright, and then Patwah is currently in Tower 2. The Ascent, which is... it starts out with a pretty hefty descent, and then the Ascent portion is actually an auto-scroller back up to the Banquet Hall, where you're going to find all the other knights. But these rooms are all super deadly. This room is particularly hilariously known as the Mario Maker room, because it's just filled with a bunch of hazards and slimes. Definitely fitting of like a random Mario Maker room. SpeedFrog on a heart and a half for Tinker 2. That's a little worrisome, but he should be fine. Patwah using some nice advanced strats to get through the Bifrost Barf ship room pretty quickly. Yo, I'm trying not to spoilerino. I'm not looking at his screen. I'm sitting over here. Stop turning the screen toward me. So Patwah is in the auto-scroller now. It is now just a matter of reaching the top. He can actually, one of the nice things about this game is that so long as you are in an object before it appears on the screen, you can actually be inside of it. So like these dirt blocks coming up, he can actually be inside of them, and then he'll go through them. And he'll be doing that a couple times, presumably. Except for right there, that was kind of a little scary. Those guys are kind of dangerous. He's having a little trouble with the rats. Okay, so you can see he, oh, well, he swung his shovel, but I wonder if he was actually stuck. It's actually kind of hard to tell. Now he's heading into the boss rush, while SpeedFrog is entering Tower 1. I would say that Patwah was probably ahead by about 5 minutes. Just a light guess, because SpeedFrog is at the beginning of Tower 1, and Patwah is in the middle of boss rush. Boss rush is one of those moments where you can kind of easily die if you're not careful. Ooh, Patwah doing some nice stuff on Spectre Knight. He almost got a kill on the floor there. It is possible to die, although you are given turkey refills between each fight. If you get particularly bad patterns from Tinker Knight into Plague Knight, you might not have the health you need to survive. Like, I would say that Polar, Tinker, Plague, and Treasure are the scary bosses in Boss Rush. Man, Patwah again with that tricky kill on Tinker. That's super cool to watch. Standing on the missile again instead of just continually poking him. SpeedFrog, that's kind of a scary jump in the chandelier room, and he does nice. He does the jump of impossibility. Is what I want to call that. You have to do a very tight jump over a small shot from the archer. So now Patwah is dealing with Plague Knight, which is, again, subject to Plague Knight's will, basically, if he decides to teleport close to you or not. He can be very annoying about this. Round 4 health, he should be, summoning a room full of vats. Nice, he actually managed to bait him to the right side. Good stuff. King Knight, not a terribly difficult fight. So apart from Treasure Knight really giving him the business, the rest of the bosses shouldn't be too hard. Mole Knight's fairly simple. Treasure last means he can even position himself in a spot to deal more damage to Treasure Knight immediately. The way the bosses try to orient themselves, Shovel Knight typically wants to be in the middle of the room, slightly left of center, but when we know that we're going to fight specific bosses like Treasure Knight, being a little closer to the right is great. SpeedFrog juggling Black Knight right now. And he did it! Nice! Good kill on Treasure from Patwah's side. And that's boss rush for him. I see red numbers for him. He is not on PB pace, but he's been pretty close to PB pace. He must be on pace for like a low 47, like a mid to low 47. This next stage, maybe it would be like a high 47, because it does take a little bit of time to get through the tower itself. The Enchantress kill, if it goes well, saves you 20 seconds over not. And then Shield Knight is a wily woman. She can be cooperative or not. SpeedFrog making his way through one of the most awful rooms, this long room filled with mechanical rats. They're all positioned to knock you into lava if they trip you up. He made it through pretty healthy, though, so he was able to take plenty of damage boost through the Mario Maker room. And Patwah now in this reappearing block room, where we're going to see how good his memorization is. He had to stagger a little bit. Not everyone's practiced this room. That's fine. Like, not to the extent where you could do it, you know, without ever stopping. But it's one of those things that's, like, neat if you can show it off. SpeedFrog being extra careful to make sure that he kills the Jawa with the Bifrost statue. Jesus Christ, and how he somehow didn't die there. Alright, so Patwah fighting Enchantress here. Got hit at some point. Nice, did a lot of damage. Just 2 more hits would be nice. 1 more hit would be great. Okay, so now he's going to try for the quick kill. He's going to try and pogo up the 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice! Got it! Having 3 full hearts is like the most health you can see on Enchantress and still get the quick kill. If anyone has ever gotten a like 6.5, or basically a 7 hit kill on Enchantress like that, I've not seen it. I've maybe heard of it a couple times, but that's like, I would never consider going down at that point. So time is coming up soon for Patwah. This is basically once he gets the last hit on the Remnant of Fate. A little bit of RNG, you're hoping for Shield Knight and the open hand to be on the left side. It's a little more important that Shield Knight's on the left side, although her constantly like drifting left is a little more annoying. Makes it harder to keep up. And then on that higher platform, you can get a couple grounded swings. You can almost... Yeah! Nice job! 47-33. That's incredible. That's actually the best time in the tournament so far. That's better than basically everyone's PB. Like, second place is tied 3-way right now between Muncha, Primorix, and Applesauce, and they have a 47-19. Everyone else is not even in the 47 range. So now SpeedFrog entering Boss Rush. This was a loser's bracket race, so SpeedFrog is unfortunately knocked out of the tournament. But that's fine. A lot of us entered just for fun. Yeah, congratulations to Patwah. Good stuff. So SpeedFrog, I believe, got Polar Knight first. Polar Knight is guaranteed to be one of the first 3. Specifically because the developers thought it would be cheap if Polar Knight killed you with instant death spikes later on in Boss Rush. Spectre Knight kind of giving SpeedFrog a dirty time, just like not being in an optimal spot to be hit. So he's forcing him to chase him around. And the nice thing about the... SpeedFrog tried to go for the quick kill on Propeller Knight. In Boss Rush, Propeller Knight behaves slightly differently. He'll actually go for a guaranteed 3 set of lunges rather than 2, so you can sneak in a little bit of extra damage to try and finish the fight early. Not doing too bad on Plague Knight here, reflecting some potions. Manages to take him down. He has Mole, Tinker, and Treasure next. And after getting Mole Knight out of the way, he's actually kind of in a good position. It doesn't matter whether or not you get Tinker or Treasure. You kind of want to be slightly right of center for either of them. So it's a little bit easier in that regard. He's directly on top of where Treasure Knight spawns, though. He's lucky he got Tinker, because if you're too close to Treasure, Treasure will actually go to the ceiling and cost you about 4 seconds flying up and then back down. There we go. I got audio moved back over to SpeedFrog for now, who is still dealing with Treasure Knight. I hope he okay, he got the turkey. Jesus Christ. Treasure was a little bit low on health there, but you know, that's still one of those things where it's just like, if if Treasure Knight hits you at that point, it'll probably kill you, make you redo Boss Rush. Managed to save King Knight. Don't judge me, he says. Yeah. So he accidentally re-went to Tower 2. I was like, what was that for? He just kind of like sighed at me. Nice job saving the bricks for a little while there. Managed to not pogo any of them for a bit. Okay, so now he's approaching Enchantress. Gave me a big happy wave for good luck on this last section where he's just walking to the right. So we gotta hope for some good dives from Enchantress. The beginning is pretty consistent. Reflect the first couple projectiles, hit her as she passes by, reflect the next set of projectiles, and then if you hit her too early, she'll start dives really, really soon, and that's a little bit of a problem. You wanna let her throw a couple fireballs and then try and get some damage in on her. He did not get any extra hits on her. And he somehow managed to only break a single tile. That's actually incredibly precise. Okay, 1 hit left. Good stuff. Not dying is pretty important. Now the big question, does he catch her? Okay, good. Because that would cost a bunch more time if he didn't. So open left hand and Shield Knight was on the left side as well. So that was actually good RNG, but he did get hit just before she... just before getting up there. Kind of knocked him off getting max hits. He wants to try and deal enough damage to her to not have to see that phase again. And then if you don't deal enough damage to her in this phase, she'll do more obnoxious things. And time. Good stuff. Alright, so that was a 55-28 from him. Not bad. 2 minutes off of his PB is what I would expect of any runner, honestly, is you want to be at least around that for a race. Or no reset. Hey, you want to come over here for an interview? He says no. You did good, though. Thanks. All right. So yeah, that is it. Neither one wants to do an interview, but thank you so much for watching Speed Gaming presenting the Shovel Knight Low Percent Tournament. Taking a look at the future, we do have, it looks like, let's see, that looks like the last thing for tonight. Into tomorrow, we have a Messenger. The Messenger tournament is actually continuing at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then later on the day, you'll have Link to the Past, Ori Randomizers, Cuphead. So all things to look forward to after everyone gets a good night of rest on the East Coast. So SpeedFrog is knocked out of the tournament. Patwah is, let me look at the bracket real quick. So next, Patwah will be facing off with Tolu. The winner of that match faces off against Exploud. And then the winner of that match faces off against Muncha. And that is what the loser's bracket looks like as it's catching up to the winner's bracket. Right now, Applesauce and Primorix are waiting in the winner's bracket. Their match will be coming up. They have yet to schedule their match, so yeah, that'll wrap things up for us here. Stay tuned for in the future for more Shovel Knight stuff. Again, thank you, Speed Gaming, for having us, and this is Mumu Akai signing out.